Welcome back to another video. Today we're here talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In my opinion, the best Assassin's Creed game. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the newest Assassin's Creed game that came out, and it, by the name, it's a Vikings themed one. So yeah, now I know, if anyone ever watches this video, people are gonna be like, oh, well, you clearly have never played the original ones. You know, those are the best. And there's gonna be some people that said, no. Some of the other ones, like Origins and Odyssey, were the best. Well, no. I've actually played every single Assassin's Creed game. You can't see it. Well, okay, you see where my finger is-ish? That's the Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelation. And I literally have every single Assassin's Creed game. I've played every single Assassin's Creed game. So, you know, the fact that, you know, if anyone tries to argue that I've never played, well, you're false. You are false. I've played every single one of them. So I guess I'll kind of go through, you know, what I think. There's a spoon. Shut up, spoon. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about gameplay. So, you know, the original Assassin's Creed games gameplay was fun. You know, it did get on your nerves every once in a while and stuff like that. And then the newer ones came out, and well, let me backtrack. Let me split it. So, Assassin's Creed franchise, you got the original, you know, series, which is Assassin's Creed, you know, the original 2, Brotherhood, Revelation, 3. Black Flag, and I think that's it. Maybe what was it, Rogue? And that's kind of like the original, you know, series of games where they kind of tried to stay connected, but they didn't really stay connected. And then Unity came out, and then Syndicate came out, and then they took a break, and then Origins and Odyssey came out. And I loved Origins. I loved it. Odyssey, I didn't love it as much. The problem was there was too much to do. You know, there is a such thing as too much to do in a video game, and Odyssey showed us that. And Origins and Odyssey are considered the reboot, or the new games, or the sequel games, or whatever you want to call it. And, you know, kind of like, because they were kind of, I think, a new engine and new gameplay, and, you know, new, you know, just new stuff, you know, new. I think mostly the fact, though, of a new engine, which I think was really cool. But we'll kind of go through. I have a list here, a little list. So let's go and talk about the gameplay. So as I mentioned before, the gameplay of the Origins and Odyssey. Origins was alright. Odyssey, it was kind of complicated. I never really liked the fact how, at least for me, I don't know if it's different, but how you had to hold down like right trigger and then hit A to climb. I never really liked that. Thankfully, Valhalla, all you have to do to climb is hit A, and then in order to go down, you hit B. Pretty easy, pretty simple if you ask me. So I like that a lot. And, you know, I just think it's a lot, you know, more fluid. You know, there are some things that are a little bit tougher, you know, for example, climbing and stuff. You know, it could use some work. It's not the perfect Assassin's Creed game, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's the most perfect game in the entire universe. It's definitely not. But it's a fun little, it's my favorite Assassin's Creed game. And we'll go and keep going. The map, it's super simple. You know, it's a big map, but it's not Odyssey level where it's way too big. Odyssey, I remember my first memory of it was where I was like, okay, it's a pretty decent sized map. That was just the introduction map. That wasn't even the whole map. You zoom out more and there's so much more going on. So in this one, they make it simple. Basically, there's 3 things that you can collect in the world. There's mysteries that you can do, there's wealth that you can collect, and then there's also kind of artifacts, I think that's what they're called. Those 3 things are all around the map, and those are really the only things you collect. Now, they can range, you know, wealth can be anything from an ingot to supplies that you can use to build your base. You know, the artifacts can go from a book of knowledge, or I think, actually no, the book of knowledge is wealth. Can go from a mask to a piece of paper that you have to chase, just like in the older games where you'd have to chase, sea shanties and stuff like that. But the map is very simple. There are still synchronization points, but there's still a lot of stuff. It's not like you go to that spot, the entire world is revealed to you. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. There's still mysteries and stuff like that you still have to go and try to find, which I think is cool. The simple map is great. I love a simplistic map. I think what it has now, there's a lot. And there's multiple maps, which is great. There's the main England. There was the icy, snowy part where you were at in the beginning, and then there's Asgard. So far, about 15 hours into the game. The combat is super fun. They didn't really change a lot with this, although they have some cool combos for example, you have an axe and you can throw a bunch of axes. I think that's really cool. You can also dual wield, which I think is cool. I don't think you could ever do that in the other ones. But dual wielding's fun. It doesn't really have any purpose. Fun fact. It has no purpose. But it's really cool. I think the combat's a lot of fun. It's fun when you parry and then you go and you kill them. And that's also really cool when you get, parry them enough and then you can like do a stun attack, which is basically like an instant kill, where you go and you use, multiple things. If they're using the spear, you can take the spear, hit them, and then just whoosh, and stuff like that. And it's just really cool stuff, and it sounds great. The sound design is great. But really all the games have had great sound design. It looks really, really good. The graphics of the game are really good. This gameplay that you're seeing is on PlayStation 4 Pro. It's not the PS5 or Xbox, but still, even though it's on the PS4 Pro, it still looks great, and I think it's awesome. There are obviously some bugs and stuff like that, graphical bugs, but that's just like it with every single game. It doesn't matter what game you play. Every single game is going to have a graphical bug. It's not going to look so good in some places, but then look really, really good in other places. That's, you're going to get that no matter what game you play. I just think this game looks really, really good from what I've seen. You got the snowy areas, you got England, you got Asgard. Every place I've been to has looked pretty good. Loot, the lack of loot. So Odyssey, because it was so big, it had a giant loot system where you could get a sword, you could get a spear with different levels, and same with the armor and the shield, and oh my god, pretty much anything that you could get, you got. And there were different tiers, and it was rough. There was too much to the game. The Odyssey had the problem of being too much. It was a good game, but then it just became too much, and you kind of lost interest because there's so much and you feel like you're not really getting anywhere. And the loot system was just awful. They were throwing a lot of stuff at you, different tiers: great, good, best, ultimate, whatever it was called. And thankfully in this game they simplify that. You do get a pretty decent amount of weapons, but each weapon feels like that there's a purpose. Basically what you'll do is you'll get an armor, or you'll get, an axe, and you can upgrade that axe instead of going and getting a better version of the same axe and stuff like that. You can actually just upgrade, add runes, stuff like that. And I think that's really cool, and I think it's a lot more simple and a lot easier to deal with than, say, the loot system. I don't think that that's good. I don't like the loot system. I don't like the fact that you can get a sword, but then again, you can get a better version of the sword. I don't like that. I just like it keeping simple. Upgrade your weapons that you have, and there actually feels like there's a purpose. It's not like you're using the sword until you get a better one, then you're done. I just think it's a lot simpler. The raids are fun. There are raids in the game where you basically go to villages, you blow your horn, you get a bunch of buddies, and you go and you raid a village, and you can get wealth and stuff like that. There are times where you will be under leveled and you go in and it is kind of frustrating, but the best thing to do is just try to go and assassinate people and you'll be set. But raids are a lot of fun. You can get a lot of wealth and stuff like that. It's also fun just fighting a lot of people because for me the combat is a lot of fun. Bringing back older Assassin's Creed type stuff. When Origins and Odyssey came out, it actually really starting from Syndicate, I think. It felt like it was kind of not being a traditional Assassin's Creed game. You know, it was just using the name and whatever. Well, this one starts to do it a little bit more. For example, when you go into an area where it's, you know, you're kind of, if you get spotted, you're kind of a bad guy and they'll instantly attack you. Well, you throw your hood on. You know, you kind of go in disguise in a way. And I think that's really cool. You know, you have to be up close to them for them to actually attack you and stuff like that. And I just think it's really cool how when you go into a distrust area, you know, you're gonna get spotted if you're close enough, but if you're far away enough, you'll be fine. And I like how you kind of throw the hood on and stuff like that. That, and also getting on a bench, you know, hiding on a bench, stuff like that. I mentioned before getting pages of whatever, you can do that. And also there's a newer system added called the Order. Basically, you have to go around killing people of the Order who are kind of an early version of the Templars, if I'm not mistaken. This was before they actually got their name, Templars and stuff like that. But that's fun. You know, you can go hunting and all that stuff. And I just, you know, I like the fact that they're kind of going it back. Vikings, you know, the next point, Vikings. Vikings are just great in general. You know, I love Vikings. They're cool. They're rough. You know, they're cool. I like them. They're Norse. You know, Thor is part of it. The traditional Thor, not the hottie Thor, okay? That everyone seems to love. No. But it's got, you know, your traditional Vikings in it. And I think that's really cool. You know, I like Vikings a lot. You know, the one bad thing I don't really like about the game, it's not really even a bad thing, it's kind of a critique, is I wish the gameplay felt more like the God of War 2019 game. The last God of War game that came out, I wish it felt more like that, how it's more close, you know, centered. You know, that's really the only gripe I have, you know, about the, well, there's some other things, but this isn't a review. I don't really know. This is just kind of me giving my opinion about the game, because I've been playing a lot of it. It feels like that it's getting to be a good kind of medium for the games, you know. Not quite as old-fashioned and old school as the older ones are, even though they are great. Let me rephrase that. Listen here. I have played the old ones, okay? I've played every single one of them, so don't you even dare say I've never played them. That's for you, person who won't watch this video, because no one probably will watch it. It's fine. I don't care. I'm making this video because I want to, but. You know, they're having a good medium between kind of mixing the two. You know, it's a good medium between the newer games versus the older ones. You know, there's still some things that they got to work out and kind of get that perfect, literally perfect medium, but still, it's still a fun game nonetheless. And I actually am really enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying it the most since probably Black Flag. I enjoyed the hell out of Black Flag. And this one's probably, in my opinion, my favorite. But that's going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like. I do appreciate it. And, you know, if you like me and me talking about controversial things that isn't really controversial because no one really cares, subscribe. But yeah, that's my opinion. You know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is my favorite Assassin's Creed game. There's, you know, obviously some bugs and stuff like that if I could get more into, but I don't really want to, because this isn't a review, it's kind of my opinion. So, but yeah, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.